Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 1 year.
1 year.
We've been
in this exact
wonderful spot in this wonderful city. The stakes are about the same.
Yeah,
we're not going to lie.
0-1, need a win at home.
Not much has changed. Our happiness level since we've been here last has really not gotten any higher, but we are thrilled to be here. We're
always
thrilled to be in Nashville, Tennessee, and without further ado, home opener, fucking pregame party here, DraftKings Sports Social. Jimmy, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. That was my little Mad Dog impression.
Little Mad Dog, huh?
Little
New York radio
yeah,
over here?
No. It wasn't even close, but I tried it. Again, guys, we're so excited to be here. We're at the DraftKings Sports Social. So, I think in honor of them, we're not going to waste a second to give them their praise, our wonderful, wonderful sponsors over at DraftKings. Game on week 2 starts now, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just football. It's first down, fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 to get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 6sports. That's code 6sports to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more. Plus, again, over $200 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
All right. Once again, thanks to our wonderful sponsors over at DraftKings. Well, folks, we're going to get into everything Tennessee Titans in this Week 2 matchup, this home opener against the Rams. But
let's talk about the hospitality first.
Yeah, of course.
Jam-packed house over here. I mean, this place is unbelievable. If this was in New Jersey or anywhere else, this is where I would be on a Saturday night with my friends and everything else. This place is unbelievable.
We got thousands of people here, thousands of people outside trying to get in. We were lucky enough to get some Secret Service over here to help take care of us because it's just unmanageable, the amount of love and support we're getting. And don't forget, guys, once this is all over, we will have a half hour set aside for all autographs. We're only charging about $15, $5 for the inscription. No, I'm just kidding. But again, before we get into our beloved Titans, it is the start of the second week of the season. And just as much as we love Titan football, we do also love gambling as well. And that's part of this show. So we're going to start off the show with our picks of the week. And I will gladly start. I think I had a decent week last week. I don't remember off the top of my head, but nevertheless, Jimmy, let's start things off. Let's show my Week 2 selections for this NFL Week 2 season. New England Patriots plus 1.5 against those possibly worse than us, Miami Dolphins. I'm going to pick the Dolphins, honestly, until they give me a reason not to.
They're bad football team.
And this week is not the reason. Next up, I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Seattle Seahawks. They are giving 3 points at home. I mean, that place is going to be absolutely electric. Aaron Rodgers' first time at Heinz Field as a starting quarterback for the Steelers. I love that. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Jarett, I still can't fathom this is possible, but the Chiefs are getting points at home.
Yes. Listen,
explain the logic.
I'm going to explain it to you because my picks are next. I think the Eagles flat out beat them. I don't think the Chiefs have the firepower anymore. I mean, Worthy is not that worthy in that offense anymore, in my opinion. So I do think the Eagles, in my opinion, you can take the points or not. I think the Eagles go in Kansas City and beat them.
Well, I mean, you got a point there. I just think it should be an unwritten rule in all gambling. You do not bet against the Chiefs when they're getting points at Arrowhead Stadium.
Could be wrong.
Unless Patrick Mahomes is severely disabled mentally and physically. But we'll see how that shapes up, Jarett. Let's see your picks.
Yeah, I'm going a little different this week. We got a 3-team parlay. Jimmy throwing mine up there. I got Denver at the moment right now. I think they're minus 2.5. But either way, 1.5, 2.5, I don't care. Against the Colts, Denver did what they did against us last week. They have a really tough defense. Daniel Jones had a hell of a game last week. Scored in every single down against the Colts. Doesn't happen this week against Denver. I'm taking Denver with the points. There, no questions asked. Arizona minus 6.5 against home against Carolina. I'll take that all day, every day. I think Kyler Murray and that offense is kind of clicking a little bit. Yep. I think Bryce Young is still in that struggle mode right now, so I'm taking that no matter what. And I really don't care. I really don't care about that. That Brock Purdy is out in this game. I really think that the New Orleans Saints are the worst team in the NFL at the moment. So Max Jones, I don't care if he's starting or not. Max Jones, I'm taking the 49ers minus 3. So that's my parlay. Plus, what is it? Plus 553 right now. So 50 gets you what? So what does that say? 653?
100 gets you 653.
100
so
gets you
50 would get you about 320.
Yeah. So either way, that's my parlay. So I mean, I'm looking to stay hot. I've been kind of hot. I haven't hit a parlay, but I've been one off. That one little ghost parlay that DraftKings give you, I would be hitting on that. But I'm always that 4 for 5, that 5 for 6, that 2 for 3. Either way. But listen, we're doing a little something different here at the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. Everyone, you see it all over the internet where they're doing these ladder challenges. We said collectively over here that we're going to do something different over here, and we're going to bring the ladder challenge to the Sick Podcast Talking Titans. We're calling it the Sick Stack over here, and this week we're turning $50 into $1,000, and I'm starting it off with over here. I have a $50 bet right now. It's going to turn to $85, and we're going to climb this ladder to $1,000. And Jimmy, if you want to throw up my graphic over here tomorrow, if you guys want to jump in on it, I got Lamar Jackson alternate rushing yards at 25. I have CeeDee Lamb after that miserable game with the drops. Week 1, I think he goes in against the Giants. I think he's gonna eat, in my opinion. I have him alternate at 50+ receiving yards. And Trey Benson, I'm a Florida State fan. Go Noles, baby. He had 82 rushing yards last week. If Trey Benson can't get 25 rushing yards, then there's a problem over here.
Well, then he's hurt. That's really, I think that would be the only way.
It's either him splitting carries with James Conner. Either way, Trey Benson's getting it. That's my lock over here. So 50 to turn to 85, and then we're going to turn that 85 into 130 next week. So ride with us. Yep. That's our sixth stack of the week. So
absolutely. I think we're ready to bring our
you want to bring on the guest?
I would assume.
You want to bring on the guest, the man of the hour?
I would assume a good chunk of the people watching, as much as they love our opinion on the Titans. I mean, it's a special time when you get to have a guy that covers his team as closely as anybody. For the biggest sports company on the planet Earth. So without further ado, chat. I almost said chat.
You can say chat.
I can.
There's people.
We do have a chat.
Yeah, there's chat.
Just, that's what I do for a living, and I want to separate this from what I do for a living. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only Teron Davenport is with us. Teron, my friend,
TD,
if you can join us at the table. Oh, he's giving us the hold.
Oh, he's coming.
He's obviously can do that because he's the show tonight, much more than us. But this is the second year in a row we've had Mr. Davenport on. We're honored to have him as a friend of the show, honestly, and for him to take time out of his night again to join us, talk Titan football, is we're thrilled. A lot of the following we have is because this guy's joining us as much as he does. So, TD, as always, we appreciate you, and let's let him get his comms ready to go, and
now he's all set.
Now we're all locked in.
That's it,
Mr. Davenport.
Check.
How we doing today?
I'm great, man. How are you guys?
We're pretty good, man. We always appreciate you coming out, especially with us. It's the second year doing this.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you. Anytime you answer us to come on a podcast, anytime you show up here, It's greatly appreciated, especially talking Titans.
No, it's always good, man, jumping on here talking shop. This is what we do. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, when we left off last year, obviously we were going through a phase where we had high hopes. You know, we thought we had a quarterback. We thought we had a head coach. And we're back here. Some people feel the same way about both topics. Some people feel the same way about one topic. Nevertheless, Teron, I want to know instant reaction to what you saw from our first overall pick after his full complete game as a starting NFL quarterback.
Well, I think right in that first series, you got the Cam Ward experience, right? Yeah. You look at the third down. I mean, so they ran the ball first and second down. I knew they were going to open up running the football, not because predictability, but just because when you have a rookie quarterback and you're on the road, the best thing to do in that first drive, if you could establish the run, is run the ball down their field. It takes the crowd out. And let me tell you something. That crowd it's right there with Kansas City, with New Orleans, and any other Seattle. It's right there. I've been in all three. It was right there with all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely have to give the Broncos fans props because they had that place rocking. But to get back on course, that third down, the way he was able to it reminded me of Ben Roethlisberger.
Wow.
Right? To have that strength to break through that would-be sack. And then really good vision. I don't know how he saw Tony Pollard. When we talked to him on Thursday, he was like, I mean, Cam does that in practice all the time, so we're used to it.
Yeah.
Me personally, if I'm on the field, I wouldn't be used to that. You know what I mean? So just to be able to do that, boom. I think overall the operation was good. There were some throws, of course, that he will want back.
Yeah.
You had the Van Jefferson on that sprint out. One of the series I know coming off the turnover, they didn't convert a touchdown. You had Van Jefferson sprint out right to the left, and he was there, but it wasn't exactly right there in the read. So there was reasoning for missing that, but he still missed it. You know what I mean? It's the end of the day. But I think overall it was solid. They didn't do him any favors. You know, Calvin Ridley, he has to be more consistent. Chig, I know that pass got up on him real quick. That is something that they have to get used to. But overall, I think it was good.
So, I mean, before we get into the Rams, obviously, we're still on Denver, and we're talking about Cam Ward's first start. Why do you think – I mean, obviously, we're in a hostile environment. They want to establish the run. Why do you think Brian Callahan didn't just let him go and sling the ball at all? I mean, until we were down. And we had the lead at that point, right? Why don't you just go let your number one draft pick go out there and just throw the ball?
You want to manage the game, and you want to be careful not to give too much, right? It's kind of like – and it's funny because Cam actually said it later. He was like, I was so excited about just being able to play an actual meaningful game. So liken it to, like, I hate to, like, put animal to it, but liken it to a Rottweiler, right? You got a Rottweiler, since he has a Rott named Uno, you know what I mean? You got a Rottweiler, and you just keep him in the house. You keep him in the house, right? And he keeps getting to look out the window and see the nice weather. Then you finally let him outside. He's going to go crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same type of situation where you want to gradually work it up to that, and especially against that defense with that pass rush and how Dan Moore Jr. struggled that much against Nick Bonito. And we talked about this, Sal.
Yeah.
Brian Callahan said Nick Bonito gets paid a lot of money to do what he did. Well, guess what? Dan Moore gets paid a lot of money to stop that. And it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So all those things being considered, I think they went about it correctly. There ended up being I think it was like 23 runs to 28 pass attempts, something like that. So
I mean,
there was some balance.
Coming into a controlled environment, I mean, a hostile environment, not a controlled. You wanted to control the environment by running the football. I get it. But now, as us and as everybody here and everybody in the stadium tomorrow, when you're sitting on the couch, where you're sitting, you know, obviously sitting on the couch, sitting in the stadium, whatever, when you see run, and then punt, it's like the same. It's the same old Titans at that time.
You still think it's Terry Robisky, right?
Exactly. It's run. Run.
I'm glad you brought that up. Now, we had a conversation, Teron, briefly before we went live, and you had made some comments about, you know, what level of blame per se should be put on Brian Callahan in the grand scheme of things. Well, I think it's also safe to say a lot of your colleagues in your arena of what you do One term I've heard a lot of them use while explaining what happened and how poorly the whole situation was coaching miscues. All right, and I think that's the most, light way to put it without really holding them to the fire after week one. And I think even you're an X's and O's guys more than anyone. You would even attest with you saying he doesn't deserve all the blame. There was a lot of coaching miscues.
Oh, he deserves all the blame because at the end of the day, he's the captain. You know what I mean? The ship goes down, like the captain is at fault, period.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is he's not the doofus and moron that he was appearing to be.
No.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that went to that. I think the play calling, it had its mishaps. And even in the press conference afterwards, I questioned, hey, look, you complaining about 3rd and 10, like having too many 3rd and longs. Well, with you being predictably running on 1st and 2nd down, how much of that is you causing it?
Yeah, you're
now,
hurting the quarterback.
Granted, there were pre-stop. I mean, they could penalty 13 penalties for almost 1.5 football fields.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Their penalties almost outgained their offense.
Unacceptable.
That's disgusting, right? So, I mean, that's offensive. You know what I mean? So that is the case. But in addition to that, the play calls, 4 turnovers. 3 of those turnovers right off the bat, you're running the football.
Yeah.
What happened too? That is an area where you could unleash your quarterback, right? Play action, take a shot, take a shot, catch this defense.
We said it the whole time in our chat last week.
And I'll say this: sitting up in the booth, and I don't know if you guys got to watch the all 22, but I was sitting up in the press box and I'm looking down, and I even tweeted it. I'm like, yo, you got one-on-one Riley Moss and Alec Ayamaner. I trust Ayamaner in that. Shoot, I did the whiteboard Wednesday before the game, saying that I trust him against Riley Moss. Yeah. But especially with no safety over top. That safety was shading inside the hash. Mm-hmm. You got all this out here.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
All that opportunity.
They took
play action, take a shot. Yeah.
They took it out of his hands, and they wanted to control the clock, and that's what frustrated us as Titans fans.
In that case, you do want to take that shot. You know what I mean? And to me, like when I watch Cam and the way he throws the football, he doesn't have to be he's a lot like Ryan Tannehill in that he doesn't have to be a volume passer to gash you. No, why? Because of play action. Yep. And if you look, his average depth per target, I think was like highest in the league. It was like 10.3 or something like that. So, there were some mishaps there. Obviously, not challenging.
Well, besides a challenge, what about going before going to half, where we had the ball on the goal line, and the miscues there, like run the ball out, run a clock out, so Denver doesn't score that touchdown. Yeah, to go ahead at halftime. Well, I mean that's the stuff we're going into technically week 19 right now.
I'll say this: go back and watch that 2nd down. Go back and watch it before the ball is snapped. Watch it. Yeah, that play that was executed.
You're talking about the screen?
Yeah, I don't believe. I could say pretty sure that wasn't the play that was called.
Oh, so you think that was a mishap?
I would be willing to bet, and I don't gamble, but if I did, I'll be willing to bet that 2nd down was a run play.
Okay. Well, I'll say this, though, TD, regardless if it was a run play, the guys they had lined up, the 3 guys they had lined up by the sideline looked like they had no clue what the hell they were doing.
That's what his assessment is, because maybe they said there was a miscue on that.
One of them did.
Okay.
One of them did.
Well, this will bring me to my brief point here to wrap up this game, and then we'll move on to this week, to the game tomorrow. One thing that was the most alarming to me about this entire situation is the one thing this front office and this coaching staff emphasized throughout the entire offseason was self-inflicted negatives. Another thing that not only they emphasized, they kept using the terminology self-inflicted negatives. Teron, all we saw on Sunday was self-inflicted negatives except for the defense. Where is the optimism supposed to come from when this guy can't even practice what he preaches in the most important part of his managerial skill set, which is keeping the team disciplined and doing the right thing on every single day.
And you had one of those pre-snap penalties was your veteran free agent acquisition, Kevin Zeitler. So I get it. There should be reason for concern. There should be people who are upset about that because, I mean, typically the results you get are from what you focus on. And that was we were in the building, and we saw a presentation. Like, that thing was broken down like Excel spreadsheet to the max. They knew a percentage of how many of these illegal procedure happened. They knew how many, pre-snap false starts. Like, they knew they had it broken down of percentages. It was planted throughout the building. You know what I mean? And so those mental errors and self-inflicted negatives were supposed to be done away with. And that's why the first question out the box at the press conference was, what happened to that? Because everybody wants to know.
Yeah, well, we got to move on, obviously, to this game this week, Jarett. I mean, we go back and look at the past every single year. We'll be driving ourselves crazy.
Exactly. We're literally sitting here at the same spot last year at 0-1 talking about the same shit. Will Levis with the turnovers and the miscues and the mishaps. And
we got our guy. We know we got him.
Well, the good thing is,
definitely not the problem.
You got your guy, and you got a defense that had 3 turnovers.
Yep.
And we're not talking about special teams.
And special teams.
We're not talking about them at all.
Fossil literally turned this team around.
You had a 71-yard. DK. Now I told him. I said, I'm gonna take you to the store and I'm gonna show you where to get those get somewhere shoes. He needs the long ones. You know what I mean? And granted, like that, the guy he had the angle, but I mean that return was really good. Pressed it to the left, cut it back
perfectly,
and then I mean Van Jefferson, like. You weren't telling me that he was playing special teams in training camp. But here it is. You got the buy-in from a veteran receiver to play special teams and contribute.
And choose. But I mean, not many teams lose that turnover battle. You're supposed to win those games. I mean, that just happens. The 13 penalties, 131 yards. We have 4 turnovers. I mean, that's what makes us Titan fans and everybody watching gutted, because we could have came out against the best defense, if one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL, to win last week. And when we were up, we had the opportunity. It's just the miscues, the mishaps, and we're going into Week 19 now. Now we're talking about the Rams over here. And turning the table, we have Cam Ward's first game in Nashville, technically. Now it's the home opener, right? That's why we're all here celebrating at DraftKings over here. How do you think that Callahan's going to respond to that now? Because I know for a fact, because you saw it too, all over Twitter, and everything, that everyone has his head right now. If they don't score more than 20 points or 24 points, the Boo Birds are going to be out tomorrow. And now we have J.C. Latham out on the right side, and now you have Sweat in the middle of that defense. He's out. That's 750 pounds of grown men out, protecting the quarterback and then clogging up the middle. How do you think that Brian Callahan's going to go attack this defense now?
Yeah, so if you remember against the Broncos, the first snap that Ali Udo was in was one of the back-to-back sacks that Cam took.
And Jarett Verse right on the edge.
Yeah, no, it was, that's the thing. That's the thing. Jarett Verse on it. And don't sleep on Byron Young either.
Yeah.
He's good too. So when you look at that, it's going to be tough. I think you do have to get into that quick passing game. This is one of those weeks where it's imperative. I mean, it's every week.
Oh yeah.
But this is especially where you can't have that penalty on first and second down.
Nope.
No.
You got it, and you have to find some type of production on first. Right. And if you don't find it on first, you better find it on second, so you're in third and manageable. Because when these guys, this is another reason why you want to run the football, because if these guys could just pin their ears back, because don't sleep on Braden Fisk. I saw one of these dudes.
Listen, I'm gonna shout out my Knowles real quick. Got Braden Fisk and the Jarett Verse. I'm a Knowles fan, but listen, not this weekend.
Yeah, so
hold them close.
You got a quick passing game. You got to stay ahead of the change. I would continue to work some sprint out. Running away from Jarett Verse, but you better be careful running into Byron Young. So it's going to be a lot, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I brought this up after my post game last week, Teron, and obviously this came from a place of a little bit of emotion. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it's a crazy way to think at this point. But I feel like at this very moment, our ownership is almost, even after 1 week, after what we saw last week against the Broncos, they're almost like forcing us to decide, like, do you want to do you want to see your quarterback do well in spite of the situations he's put in and succeed? Or do you want the current coaching regime to fail so that you can see some change and finally see a guy? I mean, because you got to understand from our perspective, Teron, we see guys like Aaron Glenn with the Jets. Now, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a defensive guy, right? Aaron Glenn. So, I mean, he's not too involved with the schematic part of his offense, but he had his team showed up, okay? Yeah. He had them showed up. Yep. And that's not the only situation. You know, you had again, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, but we're talking about a team with a brand new quarterback who was able to find and perfect example
that got to camp late.
Yeah,
got there late.
Look at just in one game. Look at the production that he had in Pittsburgh compared to the production he had at New York. Yep. This is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Yep. So I think this even shines more light on the fact that it doesn't really. I mean, obviously the talent needs to be there, but you got to put this talent in the right position. You can't put this talent in obvious passing situations because what's going to happen is he's going to get his head knocked off, and we've seen it already with multiple quarterbacks before him. So I guess what my question to you is, where should the optimism come from us where we can say, you know what, I'm going to Nissan Stadium tomorrow, and I'm going to feel good about them winning and not nervous about what the future holds because we have a quarterback that can outperform his coach.
Well, you just said it. You have a quarterback that can outperform his coach. Cam Ward is the reason for all optimism. If I'm a Titans fan, that's what I'm looking at. Heck, as a reporter, I'm looking at it because, look, man, I'll smile, look in the camera. Cam Ward is good for business, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it really is.
He's gotten, the platform has raised for me because of him.
Yeah,
right. So that's a reason for optimism, and I think, even though Brian Callahan has his blunders and there's things that make you question him, I think if you just look at that quarterback and you look at the potential to get other receivers, man, like if they draft a receiver in the first round this year, I wouldn't be mad.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not.
Not to cut you off, but the protection needs to be there too because the offensive line, after one game so far, we haven't seen what happens tomorrow yet. That has to go effect. I mean, we have $135 million next year, not to even get to next year, but I mean, that needs to be in effect. And there's not that many free agent wide receivers out there that are game changers next year.
Right. And so if you look at the protection, all right, remember, J.C. Latham went from left to right, his natural position, et cetera, but give that a chance to settle in. This group, they were barely on the field together.
Continuity, that's what we talk about all week, every single week.
So it's going to build into that. I wouldn't just yet say the offensive line is a disaster, is a mess.
That's why I said by week 4 or 5, we have to really, then we'll put a grade on the offensive line.
I mean, think about it. The only thing that remained the same is Skoronski.
Yeah. And Cushionberry a little bit.
Cushionberry, he missed 8 weeks. You know what I mean? So, and he's fresh back from the Achilles.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot. Dan Moore, I think, is really – we got to see what he can develop into. You know what I mean? I think when you look at us as media, Titans, as, organization, the fans, we all need to see what can happen.
Yeah.
But I tell you this. If you look at the money, I mean, I get it's a lot of money, but one of the sayings is if you want to live in that neighborhood, you got to pay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you want a house in Brentwood, Dave Ziegler, well, we had a conversation with him in Atlanta. So off the record, just get to know. That's one thing he said. You want to live in that neighborhood, you got to pay the money.
Yeah.
And so that's why the Dan Moore situation cost so much. I was never like fully on board with it. Like said it was a good move, but it is what it is.
In sacks and pressures. So I mean, maybe they wanted to piggyback off of Callahan being an excellent offensive line coach. Maybe he can fix him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that when you're investing $50 million guaranteed in an offensive lineman, especially at a prominent position like left tackle, he needs to be an asset on a team and not a liability on Sundays. And last week was a liability. I mean, I get it, and I tell him because he's more or less the hothead. I'm more the level head, but I can be a hothead at some times. But
the offensive line is definitely, without a doubt, a lot of room for improvement. Yeah. They have to get better. They have to. So I'm aside with you on that. But I think if you're looking at future and being excited about the future, to me, after that one game, the offensive line is not as big of an issue as playmaking.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about that quarterback. And I think he's one that can kind of supersede both of those deficiencies, but you still want to, add the playmakers for him.
All right, so the last question I ask you about those situations is, I mean, you have your finger on the pulse of this team better than most. From your own personal experience being in the locker room, I know even if you feel negative about this topic, I don't even know if you could say it, but
I could say it.
All right, do you sense this group fully respects their coach and seems motivated to play for their coach? Because that's part of this. I don't care what anybody says. You're getting an extra 1-2% out of your guys, which you know better than anyone being an X and O guys. That can be the difference in winning or losing a game.
Yeah.
Based on the respect level of the guy in the headset. And one of my biggest issues with this guy, besides his play calling abilities, is that I don't, and I'll give Vrabel his flowers in regards to, I did see the fear of God in a lot of his players. I don't like his decision making with a lot of the staff members he brought in and kept, so on and so forth. But I at least felt that he had some kind of fear in God in his players. When I see Callahan on the stand, I see someone that almost looks scared. I see someone that looks overwhelmed by the position he's in. I want to know if you get that vibe from some of the players in our locker room.
Before he goes, that Monday when you guys came back to Nashville, when he had that press conference, when you guys were going to hammer him, because I knew you guys were going to hammer him about the elbow, not challenging it, because I saw everybody doing it. And then when he sat there like a puppy dog, when he literally sat there like a puppy dog with his head down, that's to me like he was defeated and he felt humiliated. And then that's when you guys,
that Monday. Yeah. My whole thing with that was the difference. Initially, it was a misinterpretation, and then it was I misspoke. And I was confused when he said I misspoke. And he was like, I know the rules. But I think if you look at that heat of the moment, it was a bad reaction on his part.
Yeah.
Amani Hooker had the right reaction. He's like and shoulder elbow.
That made it worse.
Right away.
Right, that did make it worse. Look, he's just a different guy from Vrabel. Vrabel, he coached and managed from a different perspective, from the fear perspective, from the more abrasive perspective. Yeah. Whereas Callahan is a lot more gentle.
Yeah.
And it's more like a respect. Like, hey, you don't have to fear me, but I want you to respect me, and we're going to work together and make it better for each other. I think that's the difference, and that's why, Sal, you're like, okay, well, I see the fear in him, but not yeah.
Well, for that, hopefully, that with success, that might be reestablished, because I don't really foresee them taking many steps forward if they, don't at least have a baseline level of, not just respect and thinking that their coach knows what he's doing.
I think there's respect. I think this game, even though it had a negative outcome in the wins-loss column, I think it has a positive. The way he fell on the sword for a lot of people, that's going to go a long way.
There was definitely positives, especially with the defense and the turnovers. It's just him as a play caller needs to get better, which is in turn my next question over here. How come you have a prominent tight end, two prominent tight ends, in my opinion? I loved Gunnar Helm at Texas. Mm-hmm. And now you have Chig, right? He hasn't really broke out since his rookie year. You saw the first possession where he got involved. 2 catches, one got called back by Gunnar Helm. There was another 15-yard out to the sideline.
That was a heck of a throw.
The move, the change. When I saw all those throws, and especially the back.
He's going to play his
over there. Yeah. Bring the floor over here.
While we talk.
We'd be like college game day.
Yeah, exactly, like college game day. So when I saw the back shoulder throws, especially to Io Manor, and then you have the throws on a dime to Gunnar Helm on the sideline, how come Brian Callahan does not get the tight ends involved even more if the wide receivers are locked up, and you can utilize the tight ends in the middle of the field where Cam Ward thrived in college, throwing into the middle of the field, or even motion, just like you saw brain fart, Minnesota, Kevin O'Donnell, right? Kevin O'Connell with motioning, Justin Jefferson. and getting Calvin Ridley space, getting away, getting away from man coverage, getting him the opportunity to catch the ball. Why don't we see that in Tennessee with Brian Callahan?
Yeah, you should see more motion, especially with this with Cam, because motion makes the defense declare itself.
Yeah.
And that's, Sean McVay does that almost every play.
Yeah.
And obviously his is different, is to get leverage and positioning. But yeah, you got Patrick Surtain Jr. locking down Ridley. Why not line him up number 1, and you got Iron Manor at number 2, and you motion him to number 2 and run the slant. Yeah. And it's a nice, quick, easy throw. You're hitting your guy in stride. Yeah.
And you're lessening the stress of the offensive line by getting that quick throw out there. Quick. Give me 5 yards and the chains move.
And give me You should see more of that. I don't know why. Well, the tight end stuff this past week, they did have to have them stay and help a lot. A lot of chips.
And I think that's what we're going to have tomorrow, too, especially with the right tackle.
Yeah.
Max protect, man. Max protect. I really don't care. Throw out 2 receivers every time you throw the ball.
Which bothers me because now you're jocked up.
Look at it. Do you think that Keller Weatherspoon and Damian Williams, I want to say, the 2 corners, do you think that they match up with Iron Manor and Ridley?
No.
I think that's an advantage. So if you max protects and you go 2-man routes and, you make sure the check is built in.
Yeah. That's got to be the route.
I don't think that should be an option.
Especially when
a problem.
When you think you have a defense that can compete with just about anybody, after that game you saw last week, that's got to be at least somewhat of a strong focal point here. But we're gonna let first of all, before we proceed and wrap up, we'll do our picks. Let Teron, we got a lot of food. We're gonna get over there.
Play a little Kirk Herbstreit over here because he's gonna be the analysis tomorrow over here on the
absolutely.
sidelines.
But again, we cannot thank Teron enough to take the time out of his night to spend with us. As you can see, we got almost 500 people on YouTube, probably close to 1,000 on Twitter. So. This is awesome. This is what we love to do, and when we got guests like TD, really helps vamp all this up, and we're beyond honored. So, Teron, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, definitely.
And when we see you next year, hopefully we said this last year. We want to be more excited when we talk to you about what's going on, not in fear. We don't want to live in fear anymore as Titan fans. And we got a couple weeks to get out of that fear, but you do a great job helping us get out of that.
Teron
Davenport,
A1 stuff from TD all the time.
Absolutely, one of the best on the planet here, and we appreciate him taking
Thank
time.
you.
So we're gonna wrap up. We have to do our score predictions, sir. Before we do that,
hit it up.
You're gonna let me start. So
you want me? I can stay on for it.
Yeah, you can stay on.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to hear the jokes and everything else?
Yeah, let's.
Jimmy, let's show what we think we're going to score on the LA Rams.
So I guess I'm going to start with Jimmy. This was prior, TD. This was prior to J.C. Latham and Sweat being
our 25 rated PFF rated right tackles out. So now we might score
this
less.
Was it. It could be the option 20-16. I'm still rooting for the Titans to win. Obviously tomorrow I'm going to be in attendance. I still have not seen a win personally in Nissan Stadium. I think I'm 0-6.
You ever watch the Bronx Tale?
I've ever watched the Bronx Tale. I saw Bronx Tale performed by Chaz Palminteri by himself. That's how much I love Bronx Tale.
We got an Eddie Mush over here.
Oh,
No, he's even worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
You have both.
I had the Vols and I had Pittsburgh -5.5.
But he hasn't seen a win over there either.
No,
across the river.
I haven't.
So we're both 0 for over here. So I have them beating the Rams 20-16. I'm hoping they unleash Cam Ward. It's going to be a defensive battle tomorrow. I hope they get the play action going. I hope they get the tight ends involved tomorrow. That's all huge keys. I think Snead plays more than 15 snaps tomorrow. Kind of locks down Devontae Adams, Puka. That is my plan tomorrow, because if they don't, Titan fans, I'm looking at you. Every single one of us are going to be booing out of the stadium tomorrow if they start 0-2, and especially if they don't score another touchdown tomorrow, just like last week.
So, Jimmy, you could show my pipe dream now. I may or may not have had a little bit of some herbal medicine before I made this pick. Somehow, on God's green earth, I think that the Titans are going to score, what was it again? What did I say, 27? In Mars, hopefully on Earth too. Oh, Jimmy. I need my prediction, Jimmy. Now I got to go on my phone because I texted it to Juliana, thankfully. So it's okay. We're going to have it anyway. Rams 24, Titans 26. Somehow,
26.
some way.
You got a safety in the mix
Yes.
there. Well, I mean, look, both Steve Avila and the other guard.
Yeah, they're both
probably out.
I would feel more comfortable that if Sweat was playing, but with 366 pounds not eating up the front, it's a problem.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I'd feel much better if we had Vince Lombardi calling our plays, but we don't. So
here's the thing, right? You got Arden Key that you can flip inside.
Yeah.
You got Draymond Jones you can flip inside. Sebastian Joseph Day. I'm telling you, Key will come inside and he gives a different perspective. He gives the length. And then you could go with the foot speed and aggressiveness with Simmons, and then just the brute strength with Joseph Day. And my man, 97, Lynch,
he's playing well.
Solid.
He's playing well.
So I think you look at those guys, specifically Simmons against those guards, that should be a win.
You got to free him up at one point. You got to get these sacks because it's monumental tomorrow to get that win against the Rams at home.
Yeah, Teron, I will leave you and leave the show with a Bronx Tale quote, and I think it's the most fitting win possible. There is nothing sadder in life than wasted talent. And we've seen a lot of wasted talent, at least in my humble opinion, in this organization over the past decade. I think there is no more important talent that we cannot waste than the man who wears number one. So let's hope our surrounding staff puts him in the best situations to succeed, and then we can start our journey to we're home next week as well, right? Against Indianapolis.
Yeah.
That's
and then on the road to Houston.
Yeah, so we got 2 back-to-back divisional matchups after this. We'd like some momentum.
And a huge one after that because we got Vrabel next after that.
So we're officially in a gauntlet, and we need to get out of this gauntlet with some happiness and some feeling that this team's on the right path. And I hope to God we'll get there. So once again, thank you so much, Teron. Thanks to everybody watching. If you're going to be at the game tomorrow, hopefully we will see you. We'll likely be at the two-tone tailgate. Hope to see you guys there, Lot H. And God bless. It's time. We're here. And as always, tighten up. Jimmy, you know the drill. Send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.